everyone, this is Brooke from Mrs. Cog Hill Farm. I hope everyone had a wonderful Christmas. We're almost to 2023, if you can believe that. This year's really gone by fast, especially building a house and living in a camper for, I don't know, almost a year. So happy, so thankful to be where we are now, especially with our farm. Things have progressed along nicely, and I couldn't be happier to be in our new house and just all these wonderful animals that we live and love. And Mildred got a new Christmas present. Mildred, you got a new brush, sweetie. You want to check it out? Oh, that feels so good, doesn't it? Want to check it out? Bootsy says she's going to check out the tripod. No brush needed, right? Well, it seems like all I've been doing on my channel is talking to you guys about the Victorian crown pigeons. But that's what's been going on. And it still is. I'm going to take you guys over and show you the Victorian crown pigeon aviary and show you, Bootsy, show you what they have done as far as the nest build. They did not lay an egg over the Arctic blast, and I'm kind of thankful for that because I didn't know how cold it was actually going to get in the aviary. We did have 2 radiant style heaters going in the aviary, and I mean, they did a good job in the camper for us, but we just didn't know if they would be able to keep up and keep the aviary from freezing. And it did. It did a wonderful job. Their water never froze. So I'm going to take y'all over and show you what the Victorian nest looks like. And I also think I got a little work to do. You see my clippers on my side here. They've been working, but we're kind of at a standstill because they're out of material. A lot of you said, well, why don't you brush your dogs and use the fur from your dogs, or even brush Mildred and use the fur from her. These are, I've said it over and over, but these are very large birds, and their beaks are not designed to pick up small things. So them being able to potentially pick up dog hair or goat hair or cow hair is not going to happen because they're not built to be able to pick up things like that. Now songbirds, on the other hand, that's a totally different story because their beaks are designed differently. But first I want to go in the aviary and show you guys this massive nest that is still kind of one-sided, but come on, let's go look at it and I'll show you for yourselves. Okay, so here we are. I am entering the aviary, and as you guys can see, she is sitting on the nest, and that's what's been happening every time I come in here. I haven't seen him gathering any materials, but I think that is because they're pretty much depleted. I mean, look around on the ground. You can see that there's not hardly, the moss that I gathered is still here. That obviously did not interest them. There are a couple of sprigs of pine, but other than that, the ground is bare. And y'all have got to see this massive nest. I am amazed at the size of this nest. Look at it. And I'm thinking that this little hole right here in the center is where she plans to lay her egg. They've really done a great job building it up. And I don't know how it looks on camera, but it's not hanging off the side like it may appear. I saw a lot of people said they thought that the egg may roll out, but it's built up and the hole is in the center so that the stability is there. I don't think there's any chance that the egg could roll out, but I just can't get over the size, or the height I should say. Let me go around here, of this nest. I mean, look at that. That is enormous. And the last video I posted, which was 6 days ago today, as soon as I gave them the material, they went to work. And I think that's what's going to happen today. Is I think I'm going to go gather some more material, and I just about bet you that as soon as I bring it back, they're going to start working on it. Something fascinating happened the other day, and I was in the called up pen, which is right outside here, and I heard the male doing his doom 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 doom, real deep drumming sound, and I've heard that before, so I knew it was like a mating call. Well, that noise soon turned into something I'd never heard before. A few minutes later, Marycarl came out of the pigeon loft, which is right beside me, the inside part of this aviary, and she said, "Mama, I just saw him mating with her," which is something we've never witnessed. We've never witnessed that. And I told her, I said, "I heard a strange sound," and she said, "That's when he got finished. He made that strange sound." And it was unlike anything I could describe. I did try to video it, but I don't think you can hear it. I was in the call duck area, they were in here, and it's just, the sound wasn't very good. But I am thinking she's getting real close to laying an egg. But as crazy as this may seem, I gotta get these birds some more materials. I mean, every time I add more, I think I've got more than enough, and they use it up in like 2 or 3 days. So I'm gonna add some more materials, because I have a feeling they're finished building the nest, but I don't want them to not be finished and me not supply them anything. So I'm gonna go do that, and I'm gonna kind of stick with what's been in this nest. I mean, you see there's a lot of pine, there's a lot of cedar. They've got a couple of feathers tucked in there, but not anything small. And the only ones that I have that are big, I've got a few turkey feathers. Look at the bottom side of it. But I'm gonna see what I can come up with, and we're gonna in turn bring that back and spread it across the ground. I mean, they've got feathers on the ground in here that are their own, and they aren't using those. So just gotta see what I can come up with, and see if they actually need more material. Trying to pick up some of these larger feathers that I find out here. That seems to be the only thing that they have chose to use, is the larger feathers. And see, this is a goose feather, but I don't even know if they could pick that up. Just doesn't have a very big quill on it. Gosh, it's hard for me to even pick up. So I think I'm gonna get some twigs, just like what I've been getting. But I really feel like they're in the finishing stages of this nest build. I do have some grass that has not been, it's natural. It hasn't been sprayed with any kind of herbicide. It's on our property. I used the landscape rake a few weeks ago to rake it up, so I know that it's safe. I don't think they're gonna use it, but I'm gonna give it a shot just in case they want something to soften up the inside, where where they have the little divot, I would call it, where it looks like they intend to lay the egg. And I mean, if it was me, I would want to soften up that area because I wouldn't want to take any chances on the egg breaking. All I can do is give it a try. I mean, if she doesn't use it, she doesn't use it. Oh, here's a nice big feather. I don't know what this came off of. It's kind of ugly, but I'll put it in the bucket. And I mean, the nest is massive, and they've used everything they have. I feel like she's waiting on the right time to lay the egg. That's what my gut's telling me anyway. So here's my pile of grass that I raked up with my landscape rake. I don't think that they could even pick this up with their beak because it's so fine. But I'm gonna give it a try. I'm gonna put it in there and see if that may be one of the missing factors to her laying an egg. So as I'm walking over to where I know the cedar tree is, I found this perfect looking sprig with oak leaves on it, and I thought I'd give that another shot. And after this year, we'll know more about the materials that they choose to build their nest with. And next year, when we provide the materials for them, because they won't use the same nest, when we provide the materials for them, we'll know more about what that they're after. So I'm gonna go over to the cedar and just cut some limbs off of that. And I showed y'all this cedar in one of the first videos, and I told you about how pretty that would be with lights on it. Some of you suggested using my tractor bucket. I think the camera really must be deceiving because I'd have to have a really, really, really big tractor to reach to the top of this tree. It's a lot taller than my tractor bucket can go. So with my thoughts being they're maybe gonna line the inner part of the nest, I'm gonna do a lot of soft stuff, little smaller size twigs. And see if my gut may be right. It's finishing touch time. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this bucket with the things that I've gathered. I'm going to take it back in there and I'm going to spread it out. We all know that last time, as soon as I walked out of there, he started gathering the materials. Now it is late in the afternoon, so it may be a little bit different than it was last time. But if I see that they are using this material, I am going to gather more. But like I told you earlier, my gut says they're finished with the nest. I feel like that they are just waiting until the correct time for her to lay her egg. And I'm gonna find out. So I'm back, headed towards the aviary when I spotted this big pine limb that has a lot of green still left on it. So I'm gonna cut some of these pieces off and offer this to them as well. And that way, if they're not finished building the nest, they can use some of this to help them out as well. And it's just kind of like what they've been choosing, just the pine needles on the branches. So I'm just going to carry this because my bucket's full and distribute this across the floor. Oh, this one's huge. I don't know if he could pick that up, but let me give it a shot. Oh, it smells so good. And a lot of y'all were saying that they may choose the pine because of the oil that's in it. It may keep predators away. I'm not sure about any of that, but I do know that they enjoyed building with it. So I'm going to continue to add what I know that they like and what I know that we have available. So I'm in Marycarl's little escape room, as she calls it, area of her pigeon loft. And I think it's going to be interesting to see if the female Victoria Crown pigeon is on the nest when I open the door. I'm going to take a peek. No, she is not on the nest. So y'all just take a look at what I've gathered. This is 2 bucketfuls. I'm going to spread it out just like I did last time. I feel like the material that was closer to where the nest was made them work faster. He didn't have to travel as far while he was gathering it. So I'm right over here in front of the nest where I'm distributing the material. See, I got some big feathers. Here's the hay. Just gonna kind of leave that piled up. And then in the bottom I had lots of feathers. And this is one of their feathers that's just sitting on the ground. So in my mind I'm thinking if they wanted to use feathers they would be using their own, because there's a lot of them. It's a lot of these, which are small feathers, but they're just not interested in using those. But just in case, I brought some feathers from some other birds here on the farm. See if that may be of interest to them. Okay, aren't they beautiful? And while I'm hoping for an egg any day now, I'm not disappointed that it didn't happen during that brutal cold snap. I would have been on pins and needles waiting to see if the egg, I mean, it could have froze. Of course, I suspected that the temperatures were good in here, but you just don't know what she would do to keep herself warm first. So them having decided to wait for her to lay the egg was a good decision in my book. I think it's close. Now I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna go look at my nest cam and see if they get to work quickly or if they're done. Right outside the aviary, and I've got Tucker, our black rescue cat, sitting here with me as we are watching the VCTV, as we call it. VCP TV. Oh my goodness, Tucker. There is some movement. Okay, let's see. Come on, Tuck. Come here. Come here. They're walking around where I put the material, but I can't tell. Oh, there's the other one. Okay. I'm going to continue to watch it, and if I see one of them doing something interesting, I'll be right back. So I decided to look at my phone one last time before the sun goes down to find the female sitting on the nest. Now, I haven't seen him bring anything. She's simply sitting in the place where I think she will lay the egg. So I may or may not be right with the nest build being finished, but look at her kind of flapping her wing. And if she does lay an egg, it will be breaking news. You won't have to wait until next Thursday for a video or next Tuesday for a video, because I can guarantee you we will let you guys know. Stay tuned.